welcome. For those of you that are new here, a big welcome. And for those of you that have been here for a while, welcome back. And thank you for spending this time with me today. So here is the start of the new style of the Christmas series that I had announced and probably kept on reminding you. So this is video 1. You can call it day 1 because I believe there's still going to be 25 videos in the series of Ornaments and Tags. In this series, we're going to use our stash, whether something that we've had for a long time or maybe something that's newer that has come out recently. And instead of making a card, we're going to make either an ornament or a tag. And it can be anything that's in your stash. For this one, I'm going to be using the, what is this called here? The Winter Berries Frame Set by Pink Fresh. I was very much inspired by a video that Nichol did using this set. Absolutely loved it. So I changed up the colors a little bit, and instead of making a card, we're going to make an ornament out of this. This set does have the stamp set, which this is one complete stamp with a few sentiments. There is a coordinating die that is one complete die, and you get one of the sentiments. You get a there is also available a 3-layer stencil set. So it's 2 different colored berries and then one for the leaves. And I'm going to show you how to use 2 different colors on that. And then I got this foiling plate, the Holly Jolly, because I just thought it was adorable. And there's a coordinating die with this as well. So this is basically a full foliage, a holiday foliage. This has leaves and berries. And it's the winter berries. So whatever foliage dies that you have, I encourage you to use them. Now, you may not have a stencil that coordinates with it. That's okay. Use solid cardstock. And you could add ink to it to give it the dimension and the color. So that's what these 5 topics that I've chosen and 5 videos for each topic that I am encouraging you to do. Dig into your stash. Stretch the supplies that you currently have, whether you're making a card, a tag, an ornament, or into anything else that we can think of. That's the beauty of paper. We don't have to limit ourselves to what the item was created for or shown as if we were inspired to purchase it. Now, I will have the products listed down below, the main products that I used, if they are still available and only if you want to check them out. But again, I am encouraging you, dig into that stash and focus on the technique that I'm showing in each and every video. And just a side note, they're going to be long. I want to show you as much of the process as possible. That will be sped up just a little bit, and I'll do a voiceover, and then at the end I'll come back and we'll talk about the project and things that I did in probably a little bit more detail, or maybe I messed up through the voiceover. You never know. All right, so let's get started with series number 1, video 1, and it's an ornament. We're going to do some multitasking here. We're first going to start getting our sentiment glimmered or foiled. Glimmered. Going to use the hinge method. That's kind of like my go-to. This sparkly red, you can find this red in the Spellbinders Christmas Holiday 4-pack. It's an awesome 4-pack. And they're all that glimmer, that speckle type stuff. So getting that onto my plate, hitting my timer, and getting set up to do the stamping. Now, this Pink Fresh set, this frame is all one piece, as is the die, which is kind of cool. going to be stamping this down onto some white cardstock, and it's going to be a heavyweight cardstock of like 110 pound, because these are going to be sitting on a frame. So it could get a little bit flimsy. I do like to let my plates sit, even though it says that it's ready to pull them out. I do like to let them sit just for a little bit longer before I run them through my die cut machine. And the machine that I'm using is a Spellbinder 6, just to make sure that I have a good coverage of the foil. And this just foiled absolutely beautifully. I'm going to come in with a heavy hog brush to remove the extra foil away from the areas where it either overfoiled or is just still kind of clinging there. I am going to foil another one because why not? Let's make multiple. So I'm kind of making that one kind of sort of in the background, and we're going to use a solid piece of red foil for that one. Again, doing the same thing, just getting that set up and waiting for that to heat up while we're getting all of our other elements ready. I will be using my Simon Says Intense Black because it's not so intense anymore. It has dried out just a little bit, which I think is awesome. It's just the perfect color for me. I really do wish that there was this color of black, dark gray out there, but I can't find it. So I'm hoping that this never runs out and goes away. I'm going to now die cut one of my holly sentiments that I did and set that aside so that it's ready for when we go to put our sentiment on our piece. Now, when it comes to that, I will do multiple dies just of the outline die for that as well, to add just a little bit of dimension to our sentiment on our ornament. So here I am stamping this. I'm just going to stamp it just once or twice just to have that light shade because I don't want it to be too dark. I'm going to be using Cheeky, Cherry, Sprout, and Perfection from my Simon Says Positively inks. And I've pulled out my sticky mat to use with the stencils. So when Pink Fresh created this, they created the stamp set, the dies. Yes, I just threw my blending brushes onto the table. That's how I create. I throw things. They created the stamp, the die, and the stencil. And what's great is everything is one piece. So the stamp set is one piece. The die is one piece and fits over the stamped image. That's one piece. Same thing with the stencil. So to me, that's convenient. And I love convenience. Absolutely love convenience. If I have to think about it, no. Because I don't want to think. I don't want to measure. I don't want to do this. I just want to do. In certain aspects. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do measure some things, depending upon what the project is. But I just don't want to think. And that is why I find Copics so difficult. I really do. I find them just absolutely difficult and frustrating. But, okay. So back to the card. You can see I used the Cheeky and the Cherry. I love the combination of those two colors for the berries. Now I'm coming in with this bright green, and this is a 3-layer stencil set. So I'm going to put down my light green. I am kind of being heavy-handed with that color. I want to make sure that there is a lot of that color down. So I go over it a couple times. I'm going to leave the stencil in place, and now I'm going to come in just along the bottom and add that darker shade. So I'm just running up the center of the vine and letting that brush catch those leaves, just the corners of them. So I'm going to have the difference for that blend and that depth in the leaves. And I think that just adds a lot. I'm going to bend my mat so I can get my panel off, put the plastic cover back on, and we are ready to die cut. So I'm going to take this panel, we're going to get this lined up and taped into position. And I will use multiple. You can tell I used this before, so I've got to clean it out. I've got little tiny pieces of cardstock left in there. I don't like to clean my stuff. I know, it's horrible. I should always do it. So once we have this lined up, we're going to put tape on the inside to hold it securely in place. Run this through my die cutting machine, and then all in one shot, we will have all of our pieces for the wreath. And again, it doesn't have to be a wreath. You know, you can create like a mantelpiece sprig, you know, so straight lined. It could be on a curve. It could be an accent to a sentiment. It could be a corner piece. So again, so many uses for this. I think it's just absolutely awesome. You can see I die cut that. I'm going to use 2 more panels. Again, this is thick cardstock, so I went with 2. I dug into my stash for a scalloped die, and I'm using that as a backdrop. I found a scrap of red glitter cardstock. I cut that down to 3/4 of an inch, and a strip of white cardstock. And I'm placing the glitter on top of that. So I have the border of the white on the top and the bottom of the glitter. And then I am notching each side. The size of the hoop that I am using, I believe that I found is a 3-inch. Now I'm going to put a layer of white glue, and then I'm going to come in with my hot glue gun. The mixing of the white and the hot glue allows for immediate adhesion, but at the same time, a good contact adhesion. I'm getting the best of both worlds when it comes to the hot glue. The hot glue is instantaneous, and the white glue also makes the adhesion even stronger. I'm going to place my banner across, again, using the white glue along with the hot glue to get that in place quicker. And now we're going to place our vines, let's call them our vines, around our sentiment. And I'm just gluing them to the back of the sentiment, because remember, that won't be seen because we have our scalloped piece to the back that's hiding the back, but yet we have our banner across the top of it. So we're getting this dimension kind of feel to it. All of these vines and berries are going to basically be on the left-hand side of the sentiment. They're not covering every part, so you get this airy feel when it comes to that. And we're just placing the last few. Now, do you have to have a hoop to make this ornament? Absolutely not. You could take this, what we're building here, and put that directly onto a scalloped circle, or a regular circle, or an oval, or a square. I mean, any size that you want. It does not have to be on a wooden hoop. I just found a whole box. And again, I've got 3, 4, 5 inchers. Yes. And tons of them. So I was getting really creative with what we could do with hoops. Absolutely. Because I refuse to let them go, nor will I throw them away, because they can be wonderful crafty items. Okay. So now that we have all of our vines and our berries on, I'm now adding some double-sided foam squares. And these are the low-rise double-sided foam squares. And I'm doing that because I'm adding them on top of the glitter. So glitter and glue are not two friends. It takes forever for the adhesion to start, but with the double-sided foam squares, the white glue, and the hot glue, boom, I've got instant contact. And it's extremely permanent. We're just adding just little bits of areas to tack these vines down so that in case they should get caught, they're not going to rip or tear in any way. So just adding a little bit of that hot glue and white glue together to create that bond. We're just going to add our twine for our ornament and we will be all set. Okay, and here we go. Here is the ornament that we made. We used all of the pieces that once they were stenciled and inked, we used them to go around the sentiment to give this part a little bit of strength because I have a ton of these hoops. There must have been a sale there or I had an idea and I just never did it. But to cover the back, let me remove my Post-it here. To cover the back of the piece, I have a piece of heavyweight cardstock, and then I've created this banner with glitter to help pop that more, but just to give it some strength in the center of that. Again, I used, if you saw, I used a mixture of our white glue that I use and then also a glue gun. So by doing that, you're sure to get a very strong bond. This is not going to come apart. If you just use your hot glue gun, there is a possibility that this will pop off, and it will. These hoops are made, even though they're wood, you'd think they'd be porous, but these are slick. They don't, you know, you're using them for embroidery or cross stitch. You don't want it to snag the fabric that you're doing that work on. So by just using a glue gun, these will pop right off. Because again, glue gun's a little bit different. So just by adding the white glue, whether it's tacky glue, whether it's the glue that you normally use, whatever that is, when I'm doing this, I'll 9 out of 10 usually pull in the tacky glue. Of course I couldn't find it, but it'll give you that stronger bond and it won't come apart. I mean, I'm really pushing on this and it's not popping. If I just used the craft glue, the hot glue, these would have popped off by now and I would have been able to just peel that stuff right off like plastic from plastic. So that's why I did that. We've got more strength because we've got so many layers here. So that is our ornament. I just tied this twice to have a knot here, which will then set the loop flat so that we can put it right onto the branch, and then just tied a knot at the top. And I like the look of the loop with the two ends. I doubled it up. I like to use a natural burlap. So that is our first one. Again, using our supplies. Just grab yourself a sentiment and just create your foliage coming around it and have fun with it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. Again, the main products that I used will be listed down below if they're still available. This is a newer collection. It was released this year, so I should be able to link that down below. Check it out if you want to. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below, and I'll make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. Remember, enjoy the art. Enjoy the art that you're creating and have fun with the process. Let's get ourselves out of these boxes and try to do different things and create new items. Remember to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, make sure you ring the bell and hopefully you will be notified. But just know these are going to be coming out pretty regularly along with many other videos as well. But while you're enjoying creating your art, please always remember what is most important for me. Always be creative, guys, in whatever you do. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Till then.